I'm gonna see Bobby Lee live on Friday. When I was a kid in high school, I would stay up late on Saturdays to watch Mad TV, and at the time, Bobby was the only representation of a Korean male that I ever saw on TV. Bobby was a mishmash of ridiculous, hilarious, and terrible. And 25 years ago, Korean culture and identity was not celebrated like it is today. I was a sheltered kid in the whitest town in Toronto with very limited exposure to Korean culture. So when he would do these Korean soap opera parodies, soap operas that my parents would watch off rented video cassette tapes from the Korean grocery store, it was uniquely hilarious because I felt like it was a televised inside joke that only a handful of people would get, and I was one of them. His other skits were a mixture of funny good and funny bad, and sometimes I felt like Bobby was making himself the butt of the joke, and I didn't like that, because that would mean that I was also the joke. And so as I got older, wanting to become more confident and comfortable with myself, I actually started disliking Bobby Lee and his goofy skits. I felt like his representation was not helping the Asian Korean male. It was stereotyping us as this goofy, passive, and undesirable person. I periodically see him on TV, and he was still a funny guy, like watching him in early Curb Your Enthusiasm as a Korean bookie. But it wasn't until about a decade later when I, much more comfortable with my identity, would come across his podcast, Tiger Belly, and then later Bad Friends. And it was through watching him in those podcasts that I felt like I could understand him. He was a half generation before me, and his parents also lived through the Korean War. And so he had his struggles growing up. He battled drugs and various addictions. He had much harder parents than myself. And comedy was the outlet that he could express and learn to accept himself. Like, the fact that he made it on TV in the 90s is kind of amazing. And so now, as I've learned to accept and love myself, it's hard to knock on him. Instead, I kind of see him like a Hyung, which means older brother in Korean. He's flawed, but also he crawled so I could walk. And so I'm actually excited to see this Hyung on stage in person on Friday. Bobby, looking forward to it.